Welcome to the On CP podcast. We're the podcast for health professionals and the wider community. Look to explore diversities in health, ask some hard questions, and have some honest conversations. My name is Archie. I'm an EP based on Sydney's Northern Beaches, and joining me as always is allied health business owner Andrew. Andrew, how are you today?
You're getting so fluent in saying that.
That's good.
No. Doesn't look like you're rehearsing it or you're having to think about.
Well, yeah, it's funny, right? Because we go, should we start? Yeah, let's start. And then I just kind of, and I'm just watching you read the label of the beer, and I'm just making sure that the podcast's actually recording. I'm not actually thinking about what I'm saying anymore.
You're just on auto drive.
Yeah. Which is why sometimes it comes out wrong, and then we just keep going. Yeah. But there you go. Yeah, no, it works well. It's nice to say the same thing over and over and not have to worry about it.
Did we have something different at the beginning? Was it always that?
Welcome to the AA podcast. I don't know what I said after that. Yeah, I think that it was generally the same, and I changed from having hard conversations to having honest conversations, because our conversations weren't actually very hard.
No.
I think when we started, we're like, yeah, we'll be like edgy and...
and we have to prep if we're going to be edgy.
Yeah, and make like hot takes and all this stuff. But it feels like most people just agree with us, so it's not particularly hot, is it? So change that to just honest instead, which is fair.
Honest is good.
Anyway, crack a beer for honesty.
We've got Your Mate's Brewing Company. Larry. Larry is the name of this beer.
The Larry Pale Ale. 4.5%.
From the sunny coast, this one.
Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. There you go.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
That is not complicated.
No, super easy, super uncomplicated. Cool little cartoon on the front. Looks like some kind of bogan. Missing some teeth.
That's Larry.
That's Larry. We love Larry. Larry's good. Does it feel weird starting your week with a beer? Because that's kind of what we're doing, right? We're starting Monday evening with a beer.
I don't think I could do this podcast without a beer.
No, it'd be boring as batshit. God. Yeah, it would feel like we're having too serious of a conversation then, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is what makes this really easy and good. Is that, yeah, as soon as you crack the beer, now I feel like I'm just having a conversation. I'm not trying to think or educate.
Yeah. No, done enough of that.
Not here for education.
No, this is not a for educational purposes only.
Don't be going and using this for your SSCPD points. It doesn't count. It's not good enough.
I think it might count.
Well, yeah, but don't.
Isn't that scary?
You can, but don't. That's lazy. Don't go, that's the most educational thing I listened to this year. Because if it is, you should probably listen to something a little...
Then this topic might be of interest to you.
Yeah. Well, before we get to that, what are your favourite podcasts at the moment?
I just started listening to Acquired, which... The episodes are quite long. The last one that I listened to was about 4 or 5 hours long. It basically tells the story of companies, right? So the one that I just listened to was about Nike, and literally told the story from
what's Phil Knight.
Phil Knight. So I am loving that. The other one that I listen to regularly is Modern Wisdom.
Ooh.
The thing that I like about Modern Wisdom is the host, Chris Williamson, asks very, very good questions. He's a very good questioner, and he gets some pretty good business people oriented on his thing. So I feel like it's good minds sparked with good questions.
Great.
How about you?
Been listening to the shoulder physio lately. It's Jared Powell. So he's a physio from Queensland, and they're just good clinical podcasts. He gets on an expert in a certain area who is either a clinician or a clinician and a researcher from the area, and they just talk shop. Nice. And what I really like about it is they don't stop at just talking about the research and the evidence base and the general guidelines. He then asks them, it's like, so what would you assess if this tennis elbow came in? And what assessments would you do? What would you be looking for from them? And then how would you program and prescribe based off that? When would you want to see them next? And then, what's your prognosis for it? So actually getting down to like the nitty gritty of what it looks like in practice from what I'd say an expert clinician would be.
That sounds really good.
So it's really nice. So they cover all the base of the knowledge and the evidence base and everything at the start. And all the interesting research, and then they go to, all right, now let's talk about people and managing it in person. So they had, most recent one to listen to was a good one on tennis elbow, and then the other one, which was really interesting, was a shoulder orthopedic surgeon from the US who was part of a research group of orthopedic surgeons who wanted to look into trying to work out if they could predict the outcomes of who would respond well to surgery, to like rotator cuff repair surgery. And before they did that trial, they decided that we should probably look at how physical therapy goes as well. So they did a trial basically comparing physical therapy and rotator cuff surgery, rotator cuff repair. And they went, oh shit. The physical therapy group did really well, just as well. Like 1 year, 5 year, 10-year outcomes. Like, oh God, okay. Now all of their research is designed about working out, okay, who does need surgery and who doesn't need surgery, and what is it specifically about the physical therapy protocols that works, and what is it about the shoulder surgery protocols that don't work, or why doesn't surgery? Why does surgery work if it's not actually the repair of the rotator cuff that's making people feel better?
Interesting.
Yeah. So really interesting stuff.
Right.
And trying to predict who will get better with surgery and who won't get better with surgery.
Nice.
Really interesting things.
What was the name of that?
The podcast is called The Shoulder Physio.
Shoulder Physio.
I have the episode for you, but it's basically just find the dude who's the shoulder surgeon, and that's the episode.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And it's nice to hear an Aussie voice talk about stuff. Yeah. Anyway, sorry to delay the conversation.
No, podcast reviews.
Podcast review. There you go. Done. Oh, yeah. And I love Joe Rogan. No. He's just so smart. He knows so much about... No, I'm kidding.
He just asks questions.
I really love that episode where he had Elon Musk on. I'm taking a piss. Don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Bit red hot. So the topic we are talking about, you suggested this one. What do you want to call this?
I called this the 2 Year Itch. And what's interesting is that when I said that, I mean, it came out of my brain, so I knew exactly what I was talking about. And then I said it to you, and we did the 2 minutes of prep that we normally do for this thing. I was like, what have we talked about, the 2 Year Itch? And you kind of got it straight away. I was like, yep, I know what that is.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That sort of, we've seen lots of new grads come through rebound, and I don't think this is just a rebound thing. I think this is a very common thing in probably not just allied health, but
just
industry.
Jobs. Yeah.
That you sort of get somewhere around the 2 year mark, and you sort of get a bit like restless, itchy.
Yeah.
What am I doing with my life? Sort of thing. And so we thought we'd just have a bit of a chat about that.
Yeah. Because they're a thing, right? And they're real. And people can probably relate to feeling that in something that they've done, whether that was uni, a job, a casual job, just a hobby, an interest, or a sport that they get to a certain amount of time. And it's not that they didn't love it when they went into it, or that they weren't getting a lot from it, but you just start to feel that thing that's like, what else is out there? Oh, geez. It's a bit more of a grind now than it used to be. And now I'm finding myself, looking on job ads and that kind of thing and seeing what's around. So first off, I think the important thing is to say that they're real and they're normal.
100%.
And it's not bad to have an itch to seek something different, because it's coming from somewhere. The feeling's coming from somewhere. And it must be because, well, of a bunch of reasons.
Which we'll talk about.
Well, let's start there. So what do you think some of the reasons are, whether from your own experience or observing and mentoring other people, would be for people getting the 2 year itch? Approximately 2 years. We'll just call it the 2 year itch.
Call it 2 year itch. So the first thing that came to my mind when I started thinking about this a little bit more was that Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah.
Do you know that? Where you sort of...
You know everything, or you feel like you know everything.
You feel like you know everything, then you start a job, and then you feel like it's going really well, and then very soon after that, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything.
Or you realize that there's so much that you don't know, yeah.
And so then you sort of go down to the bottoms of like, I don't know anything, and then you sort of start to creep back up as you develop. You spend more time with clients and you start to do more professional development. And so I feel like what we're talking about is somewhere on that up slope again. Like you've gone through that hard bit. You've done a bit of professional development. You've seen quite a few clients. You've started to get fairly comfortable seeing anything that kind of walks through the door. And so, I think it's Daniel Pink talks about the three components of building a good, healthy team or team member is autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And that second bit around mastery is like, well, you're starting to approach a perception of mastery. Like you're starting to sort of go, I know some things now. I can see most things that walk through the door. I've done enough professional development. I'm like, okay, I'm okay at what I do. And so then this realization sets in of like, is this what I'm going to be doing forever? Because like now I'm confident. I don't know. Am I just going to be doing this for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
And I think this is a bit of a moment where people go, oh, do I want that? Is that something that I see myself in, the time frames get extended here. It's like,
well, that's
am I going to see myself in 30 years doing the same thing that I'm doing now?
Yeah. Do I want to be 50 and doing this as opposed to thinking about, do I want to be 30 and doing this? So you're right. Like when we start doing something, at least what I feel like in allied health, when we've started doing things, everyone talks about that kind of that first 2 years to get through. Then they talk about getting to 5 years. But then after, as a new grad or when you start, the timeline, you don't really look past 5 years that much. At least I didn't really look past 5 years very much because that felt so far away. So far away. I don't want to think about that. So I'm sure I'll have worked everything out by then. By the time I get to 5 years, everything will be sweet. Everything will be sorted. And then you get to halfway to that 5 year mark and you go, oh, well, 5 years isn't that far away. Then what? Let's double that.
Correct.
Yeah. Go to 10. It's like, shit. Mid-30s? 40?
Oh, no. Shit.
What? And then you're almost pre-framing a midlife crisis before, and you're still 10 years away from it.
Correct.
Very normal.
Very normal. And so, I don't know if we want to start picking that apart now or just sort of go, what are the other contributors to it? But
I think there's a bunch, right? Like, I think a lot of people will spend 2 years going into something, even if they realize sooner than that maybe it isn't for them. They'll go, no, I'll give it 2 years. You go, one I've barely, haven't really given it a good shot. And I'll probably have people in my life go, come on, give it a bit more than that. Like,
well, you just spent 4 years at uni, right?
Exactly.
You might as well give it
exactly.
2 years. Yeah.
And like you get to that kind of first annual review or whatever that is, you get a bit of a pay rise, or maybe you start to make a bit more money doing what you're doing. And you go, okay, yeah. No, maybe I can do this. And let's see how this year goes. And then you get to that second year, it's like, all right, well, now what's changed? It's like, do I still love this? So I think there's a lot to it where people might have pushed themselves to 2 years when they weren't really enjoying the first year of it that much, other than just the novelty of it, and that there was all this new stuff to learn. But then once they got into the routine of it and realized, well, this is what the routine of it is, maybe I don't like health that much, or maybe I don't like this clinic specifically that much. And I think that's fair, that people convince themselves that they like something because a bit of a sunken cost of putting that much time into uni, of doing something. But then you're relying on if you started from school, then you're going, well, I'm relying on what 17, 18-year-old me said I wanted to do. And now I'm kind of living out their not fantasy, but I'm living out their goals, their journey of what they wanted to do. And I've just stayed in uni, I've done it, and here I am. I better get a job then and start making some money, because I've only been working part-time for the last 4 years. And here I am. Then you get through a year, then you get through 2 years and go, fuck.
So what, if you are in that situation, what do you think would be some good questions to kind of ask yourself? You said before about, you're living out the dreams or the aspirations of the 17-year-old you. If that's you, like what should people be asking themselves now as to, should I continue on this path, or is there a different path?
Well, I'd be wanting people to look ahead into the future and ask themselves some questions like, can you see yourself working in, broadly, health in 5 years' time? And if they can't even say yes to that, like working in health in general, okay, well, we're probably not going to be here then. It's like, that's probably not great. Or, you probably dive a bit further into it. They say, I don't think so. It's like, why don't you think so? And it's like, I don't know if I enjoy it that much. Like, what don't you enjoy about it that much? I don't like the people I work with. Okay. Well, there's something we can action. Or, I'm not really motivated to see the clients I see that much. Like, okay, well, all right, cool. That sucks that, that's happening, but, that's not the end of the world. There are other clients out there. There's a lot of facets to role you in, or to the qualifications you have. You could go and work in many clinics or many sectors that see different clients. Why don't we go and try that? See if that makes you a bit more happy.
Nice.
And then it isn't health at all. It's just your specific situation that you're in. So you definitely have to ask some questions about that. I don't know. What would be the first question you'd ask?
Well, I think perhaps a similar train of thought around, like, why did you get into health in the first place? Because for some people, they've got, and I'm not saying this is like the reason to stay in health, but like some people have got like my grandma had dementia and I saw the benefit that this had on her life, and I want to be able to help other people do that thing. And so there is this deep-seated, meaningful, emotional connection to, and then what you said before is 100% spot on. It's like, well, is the context that you're putting yourself in allowing you to work the way that you want to work?
Yeah.
Versus somebody who was like, I like when I had to do my uni preferences, I was like, I don't know, I just put a thing.
Yeah.
It sounded good. Went to the open day. I was like, yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so what sort of a job, like forget the industry, but like, do you like working with people? Do you like working by yourself? Do you like creating things? Do you feel being around other people lifts you up, or does it like suck the energy from you? Like there's probably a few deeper questions to go in.
Do you like sitting at home on a computer? Or do you not like sitting at home on a computer?
Do you like spreadsheets?
Yeah.
You can be that person.
You could be a spreadsheet person. God knows we need all of them. We do. Everyone needs spreadsheet people.
Yeah. So I think, the theme that I think we both touched on is like, why did you get into this in the first place?
What's your purpose?
Yeah. And then if you do, like if there is meaning behind the answer to that question of trying to improve the health of other people, great. That's a good foundation to be able to then go, well, am I in the right place to be able to do that?
Yeah, nice. I guess one of the areas where I feel like will probably relate to a lot of people is people are in a job that they've been in for 2 years in allied health, whether they're an EP or physio or whatever, and they'll be thinking to themselves, do I want to be doing this specific job? So these are people who enjoy the industry. They like their trade. But do they want to be doing this specific job? Maybe they've started to feel like they're not enjoying coming to work every day as much as they should. They're not sure if they see the future in this specific job that they want to see. Maybe we can come up with some questions that we'd get these people to ask themselves. Or what would we ask those people if we were talking to them as an external friend, mentor, colleague, that sort of thing. So, Andrew, I come to you, and I in this situation, I don't work with you. I am someone separate. I'm an EP mate that you knew from uni. You're probably a little younger in this situation because we're 2 years out. Maybe you're a little further out than that. Okay.
5 years.
So you have some wisdom under your belt.
Small.
Not this much wisdom, but a bit of, yeah. This Andrew's brain, but not this Andrew's body. How about that?
Lovely. Painted it well.
Painted it well. And I'm your 2 year out colleague. No, 2 year out, went to uni with you at a different clinic. And I go, I don't know if I'm enjoying this job very much. I don't know if I can, I feel like I'd do better somewhere else. Or I feel like I can't see myself staying in this job because I don't think it's going anywhere. Or I don't know if it's going to go anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. Where would you like it to go?
I don't know. Like, I always thought there'd be more like progression, right? Or I wouldn't just be, prescribing exercise for the rest of my life. I don't want to be counting to 10 for the next 25 years. That sounds boring.
That's fair. What would progression look like for you?
That's a good question.
Like, when you say progression, do you mean being able to earn more money? Do you mean being able to
That'd be nice.
support other members of a team? Does it mean being able to be an expert in a particular area?
So I can see you're breaking it down for me a little bit here. I'd say it's probably a little bit of each thing. That right in this role that I'm in here, I don't know what the money progression looks like. I don't know. No one's ever talked to me about money before. So I don't know.
Which is common. That's common.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to be able to make in 5 years' time. And I want to, eventually buy a house or buy an apartment or raise a family.
And I think that's a really good point to just pause on for a moment, because the natural thing for you to do right then is to get on Seek and compare what you're earning to what is potentially out there in the market. Which I think is a good thing to do, because you have a value.
Yeah.
And you should be paid the value that you're bringing to your clients and to the business.
For sure.
And that should be a market rate for what you do.
For sure.
So I think that's an important piece to clarify. The difficult thing there is you need to define your own worth there. You should be able to say, well, I'm currently earning this. I've done some research and I've asked some friends, and maybe it's not right now, but it's like maybe in the next 18 months, I think I should be earning this amount. That gives a little bit of flexibility when you then go and have a conversation with your employer, hopefully, about like, I want to see progression. This is what I think is worth a role in my what I'm doing right now. Can you show me what progression would look like to be able to get to this point in the future?
Yeah. And the business owner would know, or your employer would know, what that person would need to generate revenue or value-wise to then pay you that.
Correct. They might not know it off the top of their head,
but they'd be able to work it out.
5 minutes to work it out.
They'd be able to work it out.
Yep.
They go, right, well, you make this much percentage of what you bring in revenue wise. So if you want to make this amount of money, you need to, let me do the calculation.
Correct. Yep. So that's if you wanted to go straight from a, I don't want to mentor people. I don't want to do I don't want to be in research or
outreach or networking or whatever.
I enjoy being an EP. I want to do this work, but I just want to get paid what I feel is what I'm worth. And I want to know that in 5 years' time, I'm not going to be earning the same that I'm earning now.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
And if you can have that conversation, I feel like that's generally a big tick for me.
Absolutely. So the first part of that was trying to get a good understanding of what your value is as a practitioner in this situation. So I'm this person, and you've asked me that question. So, okay, yeah, maybe I should go and work out what my value is as a 2 year out itchy practitioner.
Yep.
Well, I'm this many years old, and I have this. I did this stuff before uni, and then I did a master's degree, and then I've been working for 2 years. Do I take all of that into account in terms of like market value or that sort of thing?
Well, to come back to your point before, employers may or may not, they probably should, have a bit of a salary progression of what that would look like, because that's contextual to the business that you're operating in. It's difficult to say that an EP working in a business that's got 3 people in it and you're 2 years out has got the same pay progression as a business that's got 50 EPs in it and you're 2 years out.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to be able to like go down to the dollar or the hundreds of dollars and say like...
Sure. Let's say people start by looking at the award rates that anyone can look up for allied health award rate, right? That's what we're looking at. And it's on the Fair Work?
Yep, you'll find it on Fair Work.
Yep. You start
Just
seeing...
Google it. Just Google award.
Google it, yeah.
Health Professionals and Support Services Award.
There you go.
Google that.
Right. And what it'll give you is a bunch of like levels and pay points.
Yeah.
And so people will generally, what you generally do is you look at those, and then you're trying to work out what level you fall into, right? To get an idea, okay, well, what is the award that if I was in, at least in public sector, how I would move up those levels in the award, because that's how it works in public sector.
Correct. Yep. And look, it's very important that alongside those tables that say, your level 2's pay point 3 and you get this amount, there is another document that says, well, what are the actual responsibilities of people in those roles? Because like in the private world, you won't necessarily just progress from one pay point to the next every 12 months. Because if you are a small clinic, well, level 4 in the award talks about running a department. Right.
Yeah.
Or multidisciplinary care management for a department. It's like, well, okay, that doesn't apply in a business that's got 2 or 3 people in it.
Sure.
So you can't rely on the ward entirely for, I'm here, because it works in the public sector, but in the private world needs a bit of...
Gotcha. So there's more to it than count the number of years you've been out and then count down the number of levels.
Correct.
That it is. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But to your point, like, it gives you a great place to start.
Sure.
Because it's like, okay, well, here's maybe a good way to use it. It's like, if I did go into the private sector, the public sector, this is where I would be now.
Right. Gotcha.
Because then you can go, okay, well, now I've got something to compare to.
Yeah. Okay. So you can compare what yearly progression in public sector would be in your role compared to trying to find out what it would be like in your current role.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
And then we've spoken before, and you brought it up before about, being paid a percentage of the revenue that you generate. Okay, well, if I can see how many clients I see in a week, and I can see what I'm charging them. So you can work out what you've been paid over the last 12 months, and you can work out what you've generated for the business in the last 12 months. And you can go, well, where does that sit? What's that percentage look like? And is that a fair number?
Across, let's talk about more the physical therapies. Across like the physio and EP, private sector, private clinics kind of thing, the industry, would you say that most businesses sit between what, a 38 or a 40% and a 45-50% in terms of like revenue to pay for a full-time practitioner whose responsibility is just practitionering?
Yeah. Yes. You don't see many above 50. Where I catch people is from a business mentoring perspective. When they are paying people above 50%, they have different problems going on.
Right, gotcha.
So it's not necessarily depending on the model of the business, whether you are a low overhead model or things like that. Like you generally run into a little bit of trouble if you are paying people above 50% of the revenue that they are generating. The caveat is that EPs attract GST.
Right.
And so I was speaking with a business owner last week about a reward structure because he has a physio business, and he's talking about a reward structure for EPs and whether or not to include GST or remove GST from the calculations, because that is a cost that must be absorbed somewhere. We have to pay 10% of everything that we earn on revenue, pretty much everything that we earn on EP income. So does the business absorb that and get 10% for your profit, or do you factor that into rewards programs? Do you factor that in? Like, should a physio be automatically paid 10% more because they are generating more, 10% more? Let's not have that conversation now, but like these are the things that go through people's mind, particularly if you are working in a multidisciplinary practice. You should just be aware of these things because they're difficult things to wrangle with as a business owner, because you feel like you want to pay people fairly for the work that they do. At the same time, one group is being penalised by the government 10%. So the difference when you try and compare across professions, particularly for EP, which has GST, it's a little bit harder. You just want to. It's better to just focus within EP.
Sure.
And coming back to your point, somewhere between 40 to 50% would be the benchmark. If it's lower than 40, ask for a pay rise. If it's more than 50,
ask for a pay cut.
See some more clients. Increase your prices. Do 20-minute DVA appointments instead of 30.
Yeah, okay, right. Okay.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's bad. We don't want to do that. No. Poor service. Okay, good to know. So these are some ways that people can kind of try and assess value based on pay. So this is a situation where someone's going, I think pay, and seeing pay progression in my role and being able to extrapolate that over 5-10 years is where I feel like I'm getting a bit itchy and a bit like, I don't know if I want to do this long term.
Yeah, because I think that comes from that unknowing, right? It's was it the 6 core needs that people have?
Yeah, something like that.
Certainty and uncertainty are the first two.
Yeah.
People need certainty, right?
Yeah.
And certainty can be, now you might earn a little bit less than the practice down the street, or going into public health, or going into workers' comp or whatever, but at least knowing what pay progression is going to look like for you over the next 5 years can help provide a little bit of certainty. And then you can go, okay, well, if that's what I know it's going to be, okay, now I know.
Now you know. Yeah. Very helpful. Okay. Well, that's a good place to start. All right. So say we're having this conversation and I'm going, no, I see pay progression, and I have a side job as well that I do, one afternoon a week or 2 afternoons a week, and I make a bit of extra money there. So like it's not the money that is kind of making me feel itchy. I think it's more about maybe my enjoyment of. Oh, it's something else. I don't know. It's not money.
Something else.
It's something else.
Do you like the people that you work with?
Yeah, they're nice. They're nice enough.
Do you feel like they push you?
They push me? No.
Because I think around that 2-year mark, you're sort of getting in that comfort zone. So I feel like you...
There's a couple of us, yeah. No, there's a couple of us who are in kind of the same year, same kind of experience level. And, that it's not like they want to go do CPD with me, or they don't suggest any podcasts or anything. We don't really have too many clinical chats anymore. And I feel like I've done some good CPD in the areas I'm interested in, but now like I look out at the CPD out there and I go, I feel like I've done the best stuff already. So I don't really know if there's any other good stuff for me to learn. So I don't know. I don't feel like I can learn that much more in the area that I'm interested in. Or maybe I'm just not looking big enough. Or I don't know. Maybe I need to look outside of my little ESSA bubble or my little professional body's bubble of what CPD they offer me. Yeah. Yes.
You answered that yourself.
I did.
You did really
Sorry.
well.
I'm finding it really hard to play two characters.
Do that.
Here.
But let's pick that up. So, I think SSCPD is great for clinicians that have got 0 to 2 years experience, because they help build a very good foundation for what you need to be as any sort of clinician. Post that, you'll probably need to look elsewhere. Look to Sports Medicine Australia, look to APA, OTA, even chiro. Like I did a few chiro courses when I was, and it was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Like I walked, like being in those sort of rooms was like, there are people. In fact, this is part of it. Seeing people that were 15, 20-year clinicians and being in the same room as them and listening to the way that they would, like, fuck, I actually know nothing.
Yeah.
And it's back to that Dunning-Kruger thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought I knew stuff. In comparison to this guy, I know jack shit.
It brings you back down and then almost, gives you another launch ramp for some growth again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So put yourself in different rooms, surround yourself with different people, and like if you're not finding that in your workplace, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad workplace, but maybe you need to go and build a little network of people that want to continue to learn professionally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there are people out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can even look outside of your country. There are people who practice similarly to us, outside
Really?
of Australia.
Stop it.
I know.
Wow.
The United States of America. My favorite country. No, I'm kidding. They have a lot of people and they do a lot of good stuff over there. The UK has a lot of people and they do a lot of good stuff over there. Europe, a lot of people, a lot of good stuff. And I'm sure the other areas, continents do as well. I haven't looked into them too much. But there's some really smart people who run some really good courses. And a lot of courses are online these days as well, which is helpful. Or they're in person. You can fly over. That's a bit of fun. Bit of a tax deduction.
Love that.
For you.
Love that.
Go to Europe. Go to UK. Go to the US. Meet some other people.
Meet some other people.
Learn from get in some different rooms. I like how you said that.
Yep.
Put yourself in some different rooms. In some smarter rooms.
Yep.
Get out of your little bubble.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, fine. I'll get out of my little bubble. And I'll go and explore a little more in terms of CPD. I feel like no one at work really challenges me though, or like really asks me difficult questions. And I don't know. I want to be challenged. I want someone to like bounce ideas off I want to, if I have a challenging initial, I want to be able to turn to the person next to me or be able to debrief or go through some planning things with someone.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really have that here, so I don't know if I want to be here.
Well, I think you can get that through an external mentor.
A what?
An external mentor.
Oh.
Again, ESSA's got a good platform for finding an external mentor. I think it's free, or it was free. Maybe it is now.
I don't know.
We should check that. Anyway,
I need to go on to it, yeah.
Find somebody who you can have those conversations with. Because they're out there. And maybe you have to pay for it, maybe you don't. But you'll pay for it one way or another. So if you are after somebody who, is a bit ahead in terms of exposure to different thoughts or different ways of doing things, or has spent more time working with the type of clients that you want to work with, find them.
Yeah.
And send them an email and say, hey, can we sit down once a month and I'll pay you for it and I'll come with my questions and I will pick your brain.
Yeah. And that person, I think, will most of the time say yes. And if they don't say yes, they will go, I don't have the time, but I know somebody does.
Correct. 100%.
And then you have a response and you're great. But yes, definitely go on to, if you're an EP, go on to ESSA, and there is some kind of mentoring thing on there. And I think some of it is free.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. And I'm positive that they'd have the same thing in other professional bodies as well.
100%.
Like, people are generous and they want to give their time towards things. Think of us being so generous with our time and providing wonderful education.
I'm just here for the beers.
To the Don't say that. People use this as CBD. What if ESSA listens and they go, that's not CBD? I'm taking that point back.
Beer reviews. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have to listen to the first 5 minutes ago. This is bullshit. Okay, so find some mentoring or find some advice external to your workplace.
Absolutely.
Great.
It's there. It's easy to find. Just look for it and you'll find it.
Just look for it. Absolutely. Okay, all right. So maybe it's not that. Maybe it is, all right, I really don't like my boss and I get weird vibes from my colleagues, and I just don't like the kinds of clients that my clinic attracts. / I don't even like the scheme that this clinic kind of works in. What should I do? Is that a hard answer?
I'm trying to be diplomatic.
Oh, okay.
So
one
answer.
You answer it as you.
One answer to that would be proactive.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't enjoy seeing the clients that you're seeing now, go and find some other ones, or speak to your employer and say, person, I'm not enjoying the work that I'm doing now, but I do enjoy working here. I would like to create a caseload that looks more like this. Is this something that you can help me with? Depending on how entrenched that person is in their business and their way of doing things, that can be a bit of a black and white answer. It can be a bit of a, yes, I will help you do that. I will tee you up with these people. We will do these things together and we'll try and attract these sorts of people. Perhaps the more common answer would be like, dude, this is what we do.
Yeah, this is what we're good at. This is a network we have. Yeah.
I'm not going to fuck with it. In which case, you then have clarity.
Yeah, leave. Yeah.
Find the clinic that will see the type of clients that you want to see, or start your own business and do it yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are choices.
They are the choices.
And they're great choices. Like, I think it's important to know that if you're getting to this point where you're itchy and the reasons are quite ingrained that they can't be solved in the place that you're at. After you've asked yourself all of these questions we've been asking for the last 40 minutes, then it's a great, you've made the pathway clear for yourself and the answer quite clear that, okay, maybe this isn't the place for you.
Yep. And I think that definitely extends beyond the type of clients that you see. Like if you are in a toxic workplace, if you are underpaid, if you are undervalued, if you are, and you've tried to have conversations, but you keep getting knocked back, and then fucking leave, man. Like,
yeah,
life's too short to spend another 2 or 3 years being progressively more unhappy and progressively more frustrated towards your, because they will fucking see it.
Absolutely.
I'm swearing more now.
Yeah.
But like, that's, if you've got the answer from them that they're not going to change.
Now you know.
Now you know.
Now you know. And that's all you need to know. Yeah. You just need to know that you need to reflect and go, okay, am I being a little grass is greener here? And going, I just feel like everything will be better somewhere else. I feel like the grass will be greener at that clinic, but not have a good reason for why it would be / why the thing you're doing at the place you're at now can't change. Like you only do this once you've had those conversations and ask yourself those questions, like, can this stuff change? Can I get the the fulfillment and purpose and autonomy and mastery at this business or where I'm working now? Can I get it from asking people these things and going exploring these options? No? Okay. Now it's time to look. Because
every single job ad that you see out there now is probably been filtered through ChatGPT or similar. So just because you're seeing all of these things doesn't mean that clinic can actually offer those things. So you then, if you've made that decision, okay, I'm going to have a little look around and see what else is out there. Just know that oftentimes businesses are putting on a very shiny face for...
Well, they want you to go and work there, right?
Yeah.
They've got a job ad out and they're paying for it on Seek.
And that's not... And they're paying a lot of money for it on Seek. And that's not a bad thing. But go and speak to their team.
Yeah.
Go and investigate more. Is it just I've seen this thing on Seek and it's that's different to what I'm getting now. Therefore, it must be true. Go and speak to people that work there and go hey, this is the experience that I've got right now. What does it look like where you are?
Yeah.
Because again, then you'll have that validation that, that is what I want. I want those type of clients. I want that sort of mentoring. I want those sort of opportunities. That's a good reason to leave.
Great question. 100%. Yeah. So you should definitely be asking these questions. So you need to know the reasons why you don't like where you are. Then you need to go and ask those questions as to what the other places you're looking at are like. Because if you go in there going, the ad looked great and I'm just excited to go somewhere else because I think the grass is greener over here, and you haven't asked if they have the same problems, well, now you're going to be 4 years into doing something and still unhappy, and you haven't addressed the problems that you've had in the first place. And now you're going, oh, fuck, now I'm 4 or 5 years into this role, into this career, and I hate it. And if you get that far in and you've had 2 bad experiences, the rates of survival must be horrible. The rates of survival getting to 5 years are already not great.
No.
But if you have 2 bad experiences, one after the other, most people are gone.
Yeah.
Most people are gone.
Yeah.
So do yourself a service and make sure when you do get to this point and you are looking for something different, that you ask the questions. Don't go in the interview and just go, wow, it all sounds great. And because they will ask you, do you have any questions for us? And if you go, nah, that sounds awesome. Not good enough.
Not good enough.
Ask questions. Challenge the person interviewing you. I'd
Sure,
go, yeah. It's I had some bad experiences where I didn't enjoy working with the people I worked with because of blah, blah, and blah. What are you guys like working together?
Your job ad says that you're going to pay me $5,000 more.
Mm.
But does that mean it's going to be that way for the next 10 years?
Yeah.
Or is this it? Am I capped here now?
Yeah.
Show me what pay progression looks like.
Show me what pay progression looks like.
Show me what responsibility progression looks like.
Yeah. I want to be seeing more of these clients in the future. Is that something you can help me with? Ask people, people go, oh, what kind of clients do you see? And they go, oh, we see a range. We see a full different range, lots of very diverse clientele, but it's 100% NDIS. It's 100% DVA. It's like, it's all work cover. But no, we see a range of clients. We have NDIS. We see all the schemes. We approve to see all the schemes, but it's all work cover. And it's like, well, ask people the percentage. Someone asked me this when we were interviewing last. And they're like, what percentage of the average caseload is NDIS? I was like, well, I can't lie here. I was like, so I'll tell you. So I gave a range of this percent to this percent, depending on the person. But I wasn't going to say, oh no, it's just a range of clients. Gotta ask the questions.
Yeah, gotta ask the questions.
Okay. We're back in this scenario then. You're my friend, my wise friend, and I've got the 2 Year Itchies. I go, I don't think I want to be prescribing exercise or doing my therapy of choice in 10 years' time. I can't see myself doing it. And I don't think that's to do with the clients. I don't think it's to do with my workplace. I've tried 2 places. My workmate's really nice. I really enjoy working with my workmates. My boss is great. My pay's fine. I don't think I can see myself doing this career as a practitioner in 10 to 20 years' time. Now, I'm not saying I don't want to be in health. I like health. I like it. But I don't know if I like my specific modality that I do. And I don't know if I want to be on the tools this much in 10, 20 years' time.
Just for clarification there, you kind of mentioned 2 different things. You said you don't want to be on the tools as much, but then you also said that you're not certain about your modality. So which one is it? Do you feel like...
No, I believe in exercise.
You believe in exercise?
I believe in my modality.
Lovely.
I don't know if I want to be standing over a bed with someone face down the table, sticking my thumbs into them and counting to 10 in 10, 20 years' time.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't want to be 45 and still just feeling like I'm a gym trainer. Seeing the same kind of people, having the same people, EPC people coming in and yada this, yada that. That just sounds repetitive and boring. I'm already 2 years in and go, same day, same shit.
Are there things in your role that you're doing now that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy it now. I enjoy when I have a complex patient, a complex initial come in, and I have to think and I have to come up with an interesting plan and an interesting prescription. And I feel great when I help them solve their problems and they go, wow, thank you so much. I feel so much better. And I didn't think anyone could help me. I love those things. I think I just get bored of doing, the regulars, right? The people who just come in and, I've got a sore shoulder. And you go, okay, do these exercises. You'll be better soon. Thank you. I've got diabetes. Okay, let me help you get back into exercise and a good routine. Thank you. It's I think I just get bored of that, but I like the really complex stuff.
You like the complex stuff?
Yeah.
How would you feel about teaching the complex stuff to other people?
That would be fun. I don't think I'm smart enough to do it. To teach other people, I feel I still find it quite challenging. But
But you got experience.
I've got a little bit of experience. I've got 2 years experience.
Yeah.
And I've said I haven't seen heaps of those complex people, but like they're the ones I really enjoy when I had a complex initial, and then I'm going through those, next couple of weeks, next couple of months of like helping them. Love it. Get a buzz.
How would you feel if you were the trusted EP in our geographical area that all the GPs referred to for that specific condition?
Or like if I just saw more of that. That'd be pretty cool. Like I don't know if I know enough to have that reputation. I don't think I do a good enough job to like have that reputation as like the dude
what's a reputation?
Well, it's how well people know you, right? Or it's like where you fall in people's minds when a condition or a problem comes up.
How would you know if you've got a good reputation?
That's a good question. I don't know. What do you want from me? Tell me.
How you know you've got a good reputation is when people refer to you.
Right.
For that condition. Right? So if you want more of those people, you need to deliver an excellent service to those people. And then when you do that, they will tell other people about you. And over years, that is how you build a good reputation. So if you would like to organically attract more of the type of client that you would like to see, we've spoken before about broadening the professional development intake so that you are exposed to different non-purely exercise-based modalities. But there is a difference between theory and actually getting good clinical results. So you need to actually get some good clinical results so that the people that come and see you will want to tell all of their family and friends. Now, this is working on the assumption that you want more of those people. Because part of where you're going here is being able to create the type of caseload that you feel is going to be more in line with the people that you want to work with. A business can only do so much to support that. You have to do it yourself. Because if I could say that I'm Andrew and I just want to do cancer clients, but if I deliver a shit service to cancer clients, I'm not going to get referred to. And it doesn't matter what the business does, if I'm not delivering that really high quality service, then it's going to go nowhere. So I am going to have to upskill myself. I'm going to have to broaden where that experience comes from. And then I'm going to have to refine the way that I work to get more of those people talking about the way that I interact with them. That is not an overnight thing. That takes time to do. But 18 months down the track, if the percentage of my work week looked more towards like me seeing more of those people, then that will make me more happy to come to work. Great. Everybody wins. You can't expect, you can expect support from your employer to do that. You can expect them to work on your behalf to do that, but also it needs to be more of like a partnership in that sort of sense.
Absolutely.
Because if you have a business that is, or if you have a caseload that is predominantly one thing and you're trying to do a different thing, well, we are going to have to work together to make that a reality. And that's, again, that's a great conversation to be able to have. It's like, I want to see more of these people. Here's a bit of a plan. Okay, here's some people that I know that I can connect you with, and then we will see how it goes.
Yeah. Now go do a good fucking job.
Correct.
And learn how to do a better job even. See what happens.
Yes.
It's like you imagine when you see a specialist in any industry, but health specific, if you see a skin cancer specialist doctor, they'd probably be bored out of their mind if they were a GP. And that's why they're not a GP, not a general practitioner. Or they're not doing the rounds in hospitals. No, they've decided that they want to put in another 8 years or whatever of learning to just learn about skin. Just learn about one organ on the body and one thing. and they're going to be really fucking good at that one thing, and then they're going to just see that all the time. And I reckon their longevity in that career then extends another 2 decades.
Correct.
Because they've spent another 10 years learning about it, and then they can spend another 10 years after that being an expert in it. Like, think of those timelines. I think it's so interesting, right? Like, we think about, at least I do in allied health or EP, that most people spend 4 to 5 years at uni, and then 2 to 5 years later, we're a bit itchy and we're a bit like, what am I doing here? What am I going to do? Think about people studying medicine. They spend, 8 years at uni? So by the time we've done 4 years of uni, and then we've done 4 years of working, and we're already like, I don't know if I like this. They haven't even finished fucking uni yet. They haven't even started yet.
They haven't even started. They don't even know if they like it.
And then they've got to go and just do the rounds in hospital. And then they're going to go, all right, I've got to spend another 5 years learning about this one part of the body. So then they're 15 years out before they've specialized or found a part of the body that they want to do, or they want to spend most of their time doing. Fuck, how many people in allied health are getting to 15 years out?
Not many.
Yeah. But the medical profession, they're spending that long before they even specialize.
Yeah. Amazing.
Think about those timelines, people. Imagine how good we'd be. This is what Luke Kane was talking about. If he spent the last 12 years of his career, instead of learning about business, which now he runs a great business, if he spent that learning how to be an even better clinician, he'd be an exponentially better clinician. So the timeline is just different. Timelines for doing things in careers are just different to what at least our generation coming, who went, from school straight to uni, straight to work, are used to. Because nothing we do takes longer than 5 years. So I spent 5 years before I got to year 1 or kindergarten being a baby and a toddler and colouring in and fucking throwing shit around, throwing poo at the walls and finger painting. Then I spent 5 years or 6 years getting through primary school, learning how to write and read and count to 10, multiplication, that kind of shit, playing handball. Then I spent 5 years in high school learning about subjects and more real world stuff and that kind of thing. Okay, great. Then I spent 5 years at uni learning about an area that I learnt at school that I liked, so that I learnt more about it at uni. And I spent 5 years after that doing that. And I go, well, now what? Because I've done my 5 years. And as far as my life has gone so far, I do 5 years of something and I move on to the next thing.
Interesting.
And I've never had to do something for more than 5 years in my life. Never. Never. I've always moved to the next institution, the next thing that, society is, kind of planned out for me that I do. Like the first fucking 20 years of my life is just kind of planned out for you, generally speaking. And then, then you get into a job because you went to uni, you got a good job, great, cool. 5 years later, all right, who drags me to my next thing? Where do I go now?
Correct. And you have to come up with that answer yourself.
Yeah.
Which is like you said, is different to what it's been in the past.
Yeah. So it's understandable that people get itchy. Like, it is understandable that people get itchy because that is a normal human thing to happen. That we go, what's next? And what else is out there? And what does it look like over there? And what they're doing looks like more fun. But it's important for us to ask ourselves the questions about why are we itchy? And can we solve the itchiness ourselves first before I throw away, 2 years, 5 years, 6 years of, of learning and growth and development and my own time to go and do something else before potentially I've given it a red hot crack. All right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Good rant.
Good. Yeah, there you go. I don't even know where that rant started. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on this topic that we haven't hit. And we definitely haven't hit everything.
I think one of the segues from that original point was, taking a non-clinical pathway.
Of course.
So you were talking before about, I don't know if I see myself in 5 years' time doing the same work.
Being on the tools.
Like the same clinical work that I'm doing now. And we started around do you want to specialize in a particular area and be the person for this thing?
Yeah.
But the other pathway would be, but there are some, like, I want to mentor students or I want to support the next generation coming through. Because for whatever reason, like, we can
I value that.
postulate. But yeah. So I'll be the student and you can be the master on this one. So so like I in our clinic, I really enjoy working with students.
That's great.
Clients, I could kind of give and take. I think I do a fairly good job on them, but I really love working with students.
Cool.
But I don't just want to work with students forever.
Okay. Who else do you want to work with?
I want to work with other EPs.
Okay. How do you think you build the experience to provide value to EPs?
Well, I have to be a good clinician.
Mm-hmm.
I have to technically know some stuff.
Mm.
And then I have to learn how to mentor.
Right. So where could you learn how to mentor?
Well, I need to have a good mentor.
Mm.
And then I probably need to do a mentoring upskilling.
Yeah.
And then I need some experience.
Mm. So you need to do some mentoring upskilling, which can be done in a couple of places, practicing on students that we have in here, or unis are always looking for practitioners to come and supervise students at uni. That's a good place to start.
Yep.
Could do that. Could volunteer to do prac simulations. Some of those are even paid. That's fun.
That's fun.
Some of them are. But if that's something that you really value,
it almost shouldn't matter.
You should be ready to do it. Yeah. If that's something that you're motivated by and that's a skill that you would like to learn to then be experienced enough and be skillful enough in that area that you can then provide value to a business in doing it. The business probably isn't going to pay you to do it straight away if you've got no experience doing it, right?
If you've got no experience.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have to earn that experience. And you have to work out, well, is there a place for me to get that experience doing, just within my workplace where I am right now? Or if the business just can't support that because it's too small or it doesn't have those structures in place, or I'm not in a position in the team to actually mentor anyone below, not below me, but in an area that I know more than they potentially do, or they seek my knowledge. Okay, where else can I provide that value? Then you can go and do it there. Then you probably need to have that conversation with your employer of, I feel a lot of purpose in mentoring and educating practitioners. Is that something that is valuable to the business here or could be valuable to the business here? And it either is or it isn't. Once again, same thing as before.
Yep.
It either is or it isn't. Then you know.
Then
Now, that one, because it's not literally just you on the tools, it's something that you can do alongside things as well. There are plenty of students out there and there are plenty of unis out there who, want EPs to come and mentor and come and supervise.
I think, I'm not sure if they still have this now, but like we were talking about ESSA before, right? ESSA wants mentors. They want
Yeah.
people that are going to put their hand up to support other EPs who are in, whatever geographical area,
Yeah.
to be able to support them to be great
Mm.
clinicians.
Mm.
I don't know if this is still the case, but a while ago you had to have a certain amount of years of experience,
I think it was
to
5.
be able to be an ESSA mentor.
Mm.
But that doesn't mean that you can't create avenues for people to find you elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like there's plenty of ways to do that.
Yeah. Another one that you can do, I just sort of internally in your own workplace, is offer to run an internal CPD on something. Put your hand up to teach people. To go, hey, I've done this research, or I've done this course, or I've done some extra learning in this area, and I've put together a presentation, and I'd like to run a presentation or a practical for the team. Great. That's valuable.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Great. Do that 10 times. Now you've got some experience doing it. Now you have some feedback from doing it. That, if you take on that feedback, or you ask people for honest feedback and they give it to you, great. And you apply it to the next one and you get better at it. Perfect. Awesome. Now you've done it a couple times. If it's a topic that's interesting, go and adapt it and apply it to a community setting. Go and teach other clients about it. Go and teach other people outside of your business about it. Go and offer to present at someone else's clinic who doesn't offer that service. We have people come in here all the time from other businesses who are knowledgeable in other areas, speech pathology or pediatric physiotherapy or psychology, and they come and talk to our whole team. That's not only valuable for us, but it's great practice for them. That they get to act as the expert for us in that area. And that's what they need to do. We're going to ask them questions. We're going to ask for advice and guidance. So they're going to have to give us good answers. And if they give good answers and we like them and we see their value, well, a couple of positives. We might send them clients, or we might ask them to talk more. Wonderful.
Win-win.
No downsides. But that starts from the person, if this is something that you want to educate, you want to help people outside of just being on the tools, then you need to put the time into learning stuff and being ready to present on stuff and teach on it.
Yes.
No one's going to offer you a role or a position teaching and mentoring if you've got nothing to teach and mentor on. So you have to go and do that first. It's like no one's going to hire you as an EP if you haven't learned how to be an EP yet. It's not their job to, teach you how to be an EP. You've got to have that qualification first. So, show us your experience. What are your qualifications?
Yeah.
It's like when people come and interview for a job, I go, and we talk about their experience, we talk about their qualifications, we talk about their learning, and people just say, uni, placements.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, but what else did you do?
So did the other 200 people. And you had to do those. You were literally obliged to do them to pass the course. So all you're saying is that you passed uni.
Yeah.
So you go, oh, what experience do you have? I passed my uni course.
Well done.
Good.
Yeah, you are at the bottom.
It's like, what else? Yeah, okay, great foundation. Now build upon that.
Correct.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Anything else?
So the one other thing was a slight tangent off that, which is what if the business that I'm working in isn't growing? What if I'm in a practice that is steady and they're not interested in growing anymore? They are doing their thing and they just want to keep doing that.
Interesting.
So I feel like my growth is stunted because the practice itself is not interested in becoming bigger.
So what do you do in that situation? Or are we talking about...
How do you kind of navigate that? Because imagine you're working in a workplace and it's a reasonable clinic. It's the people there are good, but it's like you'll probably get a CPI increase in your salary year on year, but the business itself is like, we're not interested in growth. We're just interested in seeing what comes in, and then that's it.
I guess you have to know if that's what you want. And if you're itchy because you want growth, and if you're itchy because you want growth, you probably have to ask them if that's doable there. It's like, are they going to discourage you growing or changing what you're doing? Are they going to allow you to, because just because the business itself isn't growing doesn't mean that like what you see personally and what you do personally can't change. It's like you're not looking to grow in terms of the amount of hours you're working if you're already full-time. It's like, I don't want to grow from 40 to 60. I want to grow in my experience and my service and my pay. So even in a business that isn't growing, you can still grow in that sense. Like you can still grow in all of the things we talked about in terms of specializing more, learning more about a particular topic, whether you mentor as a side thing outside of the job you're in. If you bring in more revenue, you have good grounds to be paid more as well. If you become a real specialist, you could probably charge more as well. Maybe you get to a point where the business, you're at a point with them where they're not growing because no one really wanted to do it. But if you're in a position to do it for them, great, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. What would you add to that?
Nothing. I would double down on that last point, that maybe it's because they're comfortable.
They're happy.
And they are doing what they want. They're getting out of the business what they want to get out. And so what would it look like? What would it look like if I did that for the business?
Yeah.
How would I get rewarded for that?
What business owner is going to say no to an employee coming to them and going, hey, I want to try and make your business more money? No, please don't. No,
please don't.
I'm comfy. I'm good. No. Just don't.
Difficult.
Don't shake the boat. It's like, no. I want to do it for you. And I would like to be rewarded for it after I do it. After I show that I can do it and that I actually generate more revenue for you or more business for you. No. No thanks.
Well, if they say no, you go and start your own business.
Then you go and do it because you're clearly driven to go and do it yourself. Right. Go and do it yourself, yeah.
But yeah, no business owner is going to say no to that. And in fact, that is a wonderful conversation to be able to have.
Wonderful. Anything else? He does have something else.
2 year itch.
Yeah. 2 to 5 year itch.
Well, yeah, 5 is a little bit different.
It's a different itch because people want to change in...
Yeah.
Not circumstance. For like a...
If you've been in a company for 5 years and yet you've got the second itch, it's a bit different, I think. Some of those things that we talked about are still the same, but I don't know if we want to talk about this now or in a different one.
I think the 5 year itch is a different podcast.
It's a different one because there is this natural... Over the first few years of somebody starting in their career, salaries will increase at a much faster rate than when it gets to that 5 year mark. It can't continue like it is. you can't, like, just if we use basic examples of saying, you start at 70K and you get a $4,000 to $5,000 increase in your salary every year. That might be true for the first 5 years, but it doesn't continue on that way for the next 20. It can't. So then it's a different conversation because you're starting to plateau in terms of what you can earn, irrespective of whether you stay in private practice or you go into a large organization or you go into public health. Like it plateaus. So the decision to remain in that career post that is a different kind of conversation. But for the 2 years, it's like you said at the start, like this is a very, very normal thing for people to go through. You shouldn't brush it aside. You should get a mentor and talk to them about it. And just come back to, the questions that we've thrown out today. Like, ask yourself the questions. Ask yourself, are the challenges that I feel like I'm facing insurmountable in the place that I'm in now? Or if I have a conversation and I can get some answers to some questions, is that going to help highlight to me what the opportunities still are in this career, however long I stay in this role for?
Yeah. There's no expectation that everyone does the same career forever. That's also not realistic. Like, it's not I don't think it's fully a generational thing either. That a lot of people will probably change careers in 5 to 10 years' time. Completely. That's okay. That's fine. It's not for everyone. You can't necessarily trust your early 20s or mid 20s self to make the right life decision for you the first time round. That's okay. It's all right. It's not for everyone. As long as you give it a red hot crack, right? You really try. And then you go, okay, no, I've tried everything. Tried all these things we've talked about and some more. Maybe it's not for me. Okay, good. I really want to build houses. Fuck yeah.
Great.
Awesome.
Build houses.
Me too. I just can't be bothered to learn how.
Yeah.
I totally would though.
Yeah, you're going back to that.
Yeah. If I could skip the apprenticeship phase and go straight to like a 10 years experience residential carpenter, that'd be sick.
It's not the way it works.
Andrew, if you were to slot yourself into the same experienced role or job that is not in health right now, but you're the same distance through a career, what would it be?
It's quite close, right? I've been having a few conversations with some of the people business owners that I work with recently, that are not just in allied health, but they are in different industries around brand and strategy and brand identity. And that I would only need to be having 3 or 4 of those conversations a week, and I would feel very, very fulfilled in that work. So for me, it would be that
branding
and marketing and
business planning.
I love that.
Business consultant.
Business consulting. What about you?
I think I'd be a chippy.
Lovely.
I fucking love building things.
Right.
And I love, like I did builder's labouring when I was at uni. And so I'd have a very, very small role in seeing renovations and like houses go up. And I go, that's fucking sick. That's awesome. It's like, I saw that when it was just like framework. Or when I was just digging holes down that side path. And now look how beautiful that backyard is. Nice. It's like, oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, be a builder.
Awesome.
Maybe when I win the lotto, Or Adrian Potelli from LMCT Plus. You know who that is?
No.
No, so he's the guy who buys all the block houses now.
Ah, you're right.
Yeah. So the block's fake now, right? Because he just buys everything and she's, auctioning against himself. And then he goes and auctions them off himself. So he basically does his own, like, lottos.
Right.
Powerball kind of things. And he goes, I'm selling all of the block houses. Buy a $10 ticket, whatever. And then he'll just, like, pick a random person. And they win, like, $10 million. Wow, crazy. Or, that kind of thing. I don't know. If I did that, I'd probably split my time half. A little bit of EP. And I'd go back to TAFE and do an apprenticeship. Yeah.
Nice. I like it. I like it.
And there you go. On that bombshell. No, it's not a bombshell. See you later.
Goodbye.